My name is Isabel Steuble-Johnson, and this is Real Opinions. Hi, my name is Isabel Steuble-Johnson. I am currently a director, but prior to that, I was a producer for over 12 years. So I've made the switch into directing in the past 2 years, and I'm located in London.
So how did you end up doing what you do?
I started as a producer in New York, and I started out producing advertising, and I've done that for over 12 years. And I moved to London in 2009 to go to attend film school, and made the switch to producing in London. And I've really enjoyed doing that, but now have decided to pursue directing.
And how long, including everything, have you been active in the industry now?
I've been active in the industry since I graduated in 2005. I graduated from NYU.
What's the best piece of advice you've been given?
I think the best piece of advice I've been given is to just do as much as you can and to practice as often as you can. I think with filmmaking, you learn by doing. So you can't really read about it. You can't sort of theorize it. You can watch as many films as you want, but you don't know how you'll react until you're stood there in front of the cast and the crew, making decisions. So I think practicing as much as you can is the advice that I received. And I think it's totally true.
And on the flip side, what's the worst piece of advice that you've gotten?
I was thinking about this, and I think it's not necessarily that I've received a bit of bad advice, but I feel like the film industry feels like if you're over a certain age, you can't switch into anything else. And I don't think that's true. So I've been producing for a long time, and I've made the switch to directing. And I don't think that's too late. I think, you can at any time you can pursue something different and test something different out. So I think that it's not necessarily advice, but it might seem like that's the case in the film industry, but that's simply not true.
Tell us about a project that made you realize this is what you wanted to do.
I think it was really early on my first commercial that I did in New York. And it was in about 40-degree weather, New York summer. It was sweltering hot, humid. And we had all of these, the ad was claymation, and we had all of these claymation rabbits that we needed to swap out one at a time in the middle of a sort of a square in New York. And it was such hard work, but it was so fun and so silly, but so creative and creatively stimulating. And when you saw the final ad, it won everything because it was so different. And I thought, this is what I need to do with my life. I need to always be on set. I need to always be getting claymation rabbits and putting them around.
One of life's goals.
Yeah.
And what was the advert for?
It was for a TV. It was for a Sony, I think Bravia TV at the time. And it was to showcase the colors. And it was one of my first jobs in production, and it was amazing.
It sounds fun though.
Yeah.
Tell us about one of your favorite festival experiences.
I think one of my favorite festival experiences is going to BFI Flare Festival. One of the films I produced, Homegirl, was screened there. And we screened the film, and then we talked about the process and we talked about filming it. And that was just so cool. And Flare is just such a great festival anyway, it's so interesting, and there's so many amazing films that premiere there, and that are shown there. So it was so cool, and to have your film shown at the BFI is always amazing.
Another one of life's goals.
Yeah, literally.
BFI screening. We've just had, because it's obviously just finished over the weekend, and for this year, and every year we do a networking drinks with them, with BFI Flare. And like I'm always like enthralled by the selection of films that they pick, because they're just such a really strong variety, like all over the world as well.
Yeah.
And we met quite a few filmmakers that it was their first film and their first screening, and we were just
wow,
what an amazing kind of start for you to kind of experience the festival circuit. But yeah, it's fun.
It's such a good festival. Yeah. And the filmmakers are so good. Like, it's just a solid group of filmmakers.
What makes you get up in the morning?
I love film, and so I'm so excited to make films. Like, I was filming a short film over the weekend, and every day I just sprang out of bed ready to go. I couldn't wait for the shoot. And then yesterday when we wrapped, I felt so sad because I said, what's next? What's the next thing we're going to do? I think, film is incredible, and storytelling is incredible. And when you get your hands on a script that is just so interesting and engaging, and maybe tells a story from a perspective that you didn't think about, you just want to make it immediately, and you just want to get into it and dig into it.
Oh, that's like quite rousing.
I just love film so much. I can't do anything else.
What do you want people to feel like when they've watched your work?
I was thinking about this a lot, and I think the main thing I want people to feel is connected to the characters. And I want them to feel, even if the character is a villain, I want them to feel that they've gone through the story with that character. They understand that character. And, story is the most important thing to me. And then the close second is characters. We watch films so that we can really feel something and understand something about somebody that is not us, and it expands our worldview in that way. And so the characters are the way that we do that. So that's what I want people to feel. I want them to feel a connection with the people that they just spent their time with.
What has someone done for you that made you feel wanted?
I feel that every time I go on set and the whole crew is there, the whole cast is there, it makes me feel so included. And so, it's an incredible feeling when it all gels together. You're all working on the same thing, and you're aligned, and you're moving forward as one group. And that makes me feel included, wanted, and just like I'm really in the team and in the industry.
And what's the one thing that makes you disappointed about the film industry?
Well, I've been, when I started out, there was such a low percentage of female directors of color, and we're still at the same percentage. And it's, over a decade has passed, and that makes me incredibly disappointed. I just feel like the industry should be better, and should have realized that, it's not that if you let different people in that you're going to then lose all of your spot. I feel like people get into the film industry and then that's it. They feel like, well, I'm not going to let anybody else in to protect my spot. But I think, the more voices we have in the film industry and the more diversity we have, the better. Why wouldn't you want that? So that's disappointing to me.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite a common thing that's coming up when we ask this question.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Kind of like, I think we put it in there because we're like, we kind of know what people will be disappointed about, but it's kind of, we want to hear it from different people. Like,
yeah,
if enough people are saying it, then, and from within the industry as well, not just saying that kind of like, we've done a report and we found out that X percentage of people, and I just feel like, yeah, it's stupid that we're in the 21st century, that we still, just have such disparity.
Yeah.
And also kind of the wins that we see is always on screen. It's always like,
yes.
like we have people of color on screen. We have, trans actors or Down syndrome actors, and you're like, that's great, but it shouldn't be the headline. It should just be like, that's a great film.
Yes.
All kind of like going, but who directed it? Oh, still an old white man.
So. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And the on-screen roles are good jobs, don't get me wrong, but the off-screen roles are really good jobs. Sound recordists, gaffers, these are really well-paid, good jobs that, it's a shame that people don't even realize that they could have that as a job, so that's, I would like to see that really improve in the next 10 years.
Another life goal.
Yes, exactly.
Are you an early worm or a night owl?
Night owl. Oh goodness, when we have an early call, I'm just like,
when you're on night shoots, you'll be like,
yeah, I'm fine, I'm pumped.
Do your parents understand what you do for a job?
Yes, my parents love film. They are film buffs, probably see more films than me. So yeah.
What makes you want to see a film?
I think it's tough now. I think it's story always for me, am I interested in the story? Do I like the actors, but it's tough because we have so many films that are just franchise films, so I'll just I'm an Everyman member, so I'll just go and see anything, and just to see, anything that's not a franchise film. Not that I don't like them, don't get me wrong, but I want to see what the indie filmmakers are doing. So I'll see, I'm just interested if it's indie.
If you were not working in film, what would you be doing instead?
There's nothing. I was thinking about this. There's nothing. It's something that I saw as a kid, and I loved films as a kid, and I would watch the same 5 films over and over again. And so, I don't know what that would be.
I love the honesty. I like that's it. I'm going to ask you one last question, which is going to be, which of the 5 senses is your strongest?
I think it's sight. I think it's, I think when I'm sort of visualizing a story and when I'm sort of thinking about something, I need to sort of see it so that I can pull it all together. That and sound, I think, hearing something and hearing sort of the music or hearing all of that come together, that really helps me to visualize a story as well.